Well, it has been a couple days since the last episode, and I have spent some time and quite a bit of resin farming for Lauma. So I have, I believe, got all of the boss drops I need. I will need a couple more of these, but these are able to be collected now. And I should have enough of these. I can craft another 33, and I currently own 33, so I should have enough. If not, I can also go and farm them today. Our only setback is going to be these, which I will not have enough of, but I will probably be able to get some from the crafting stuff. We'll see. I have gone and finished the newest event, so I can get this weapon up to R5. I also went and fully 100%ed this area, so all that's left is this area up here, which I have already gone and unlocked some teleport waypoints in to get the Fatui drops. And then the other thing we are going to do for Lauma is her talents, which I should have enough of these, possibly, and these are hopefully not going to be a problem. As for the rest of our team, we don't need to touch any of them because they should all be relatively built enough. You know what? I'm going to get Kokumi's burst up to level 8 because I use it a lot. So now back to Lauma. I'm going to keep doing that. Back to Lauma. Let's start with your ascension because I can do that immediately. So there is level 80. I'm hoping I have enough books for this, but I'm not really too sure. And then level 90. We are going to need a few more of these, and these. So let's start with these guys because they are easy, and we only need another 8 of them, so this shouldn't take us much time at all. So there is 1, there is 2, over here is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So now we can head over to the crafting table, crafting bench, alchemy bench, whatever the hell it's called, and we can craft up 3 of those, and then probably nowhere near enough of these. We can craft a whole 1 of them, which is 4 short of what we need now. So let's see. I don't have a lot of dust. Can I buy more dust? I can't buy a lot of it, but I can buy a little bit. That is enough to convert 1 of the big chunks. And we'll see how many of the purple ones. That would be 3 because I don't have any other ones. So now we go to the lowest grade and we can only craft 4. Now I'm no crazy mathematician, but I don't think that's going to be enough. That is in fact not enough. We need another 2. So I'm going to need more dust, which I currently can't do because I don't have any of the dust stuff. So even though I was planning on saving it, I have a guaranteed on here. So let's do a quick 10 pull on weapon banner. Because, okay, frick it, why not? That's an early. And we're guaranteed. So, hey, win-win. Cannot complain about that one bit. There is Lauma's weapon. I probably will use it on her. I'm assuming it's obviously going to be our best bet. Wait, huh? Excuse me, what? That is the first time that's ever happened. That's a double 5-star. And a double 5-star of Lauma's weapon. I'm speechless. That is crazy. I have never gotten a double 5-star before. That is my first ever double 5-star. God damn, okay. Well, that was a very successful, very out of the blue pulling session. Well, we can buy some more dust now. Hell yeah. And we can do that. So now we have enough of those. But now we also just so happen to have 2 of Lauma's weapons. Now, I'm not going to refine these because this would actually be pretty decent for, I'm going to say probably Nahida potentially, just because EM main stat. I don't know what the passive does, so let me quickly read that. So basically, it increases EM a bunch from doing either a Hydro or Dendro elemental skill attack. And then if a nearby party member triggers Lunar Bloom, we get more EM. If both of those EM buffs happen at the same time, or both of those EM buffs are currently active, then any bloom damage is increased by 120%, and Hyper Bloom and Burgeon is increased by 80, and Lunar Bloom is increased by 40. That's quite good, so we're definitely going to be running that on Lauma. So much for this weapon that I just leveled up, because that is immediately not being used anymore. As for the second copy of it, to be completely honest, it would have been honestly better if we'd lost that and gotten Nahida's weapon. But I mean, hey, we have 2 of Lauma's. I guess I could probably run that on Nahida as well. I could also potentially run it on Kokumi, who is currently using the prototype Amber, because Kokumi will be the on-fielding character in the Bloom team. So if we want to run her with more EM, we can. I'm honestly not really too sure what I'm going to do with the second copy of it, but we have 1 of them, so let's get that leveled up. Now, I'm really hoping I have the resources for this because Obviously, I was not planning on getting Lauma's weapon today, let alone 2 of them, but it does seem like we are going to have enough resources to at least get it to level 60, and level 70 is not going to happen. However, because the game is nice to us, we can go farm the stuff we need. Now, I'm almost 100% sure we should be seeing a lot more damage out of basically everything now. The bloom should be doing more. That was a 94,000 bloom. The blooms are definitely doing more damage, or the hyper blooms are definitely doing more damage. I also did see a couple comments of people saying they don't need to build crit rate on Lauma for the bloom stuff, which is, what is it, this stuff? And that is very true. It's like a fixed 15%, but I think I need to build more crit rate on her for the skill so I can get more consistent damage out of the skill. So to be honest, she has a lot of EM. She's going to have so much EM, and she still has a crit rate main stat circlet. So I honestly think Lauma is probably going to be up there with one of the best built characters on this account at the moment. I would like to get her crit damage up a little bit higher because I'd assume that will also affect the hold skill, but that is definitely a future problem because artifacts are not artifacting right now. Was that 100,000 from a bloom? Jesus, okay. The bloom team might be able to do the most damage out of anything on this account. I mean, this domain does have a buff for blooms, so that is helping. But still, that's a lot of damage. Okay, well, there's a few runs in there. Let's see what that does. That is not going to be enough. Hopefully it's enough to craft though. No, that is not going to be anywhere near enough. I still need another 4 of the golds. We will have enough of everything else though. We are just not going to have enough over these, so I might be able to use a little bit more resin to get that. But first, let's ascend that to level 70 and level 80. There we go. Now I'm just going to need a little bit more of these for level 90, which we will deal with in just a second. First, let's actually finish off what we originally started doing, which is Lauma. Let's get her up to her last ascension, and because she's an EM-based character, we can max her out, which I didn't think I'd have enough books for, but apparently I do. That is awesome. That is a lot of elemental mastery. Okay, well, let's quickly do talents before we move on to doing the last bit of farming for that weapon. I'm not going to worry about her normal attack right now because I'm not going to have enough resources to level it up. To be fair, I might not even have enough resources to get her skill up to a decent level, but I actually might. Never mind. We can get both her burst and skill up to level 7, and then we will need more boss drops to continue. I don't think I farmed these yet. No, I think I can go farm them now. So would I have enough materials to get the skill up to level 8? Yes. So I'm gonna have to use a bit of fragile resin for this, but let's go farm this weekly boss. We get the boss drop we need. So that means we can get Lauma's skill up to level 8. I'm actually not sure if we have any dream solvents that we can use, but I will look at that in just a second because first I need to go farm this. And I should go do a lot more farming in here because I'm going to need this stuff to level up the other one of Lauma's weapon, but I don't know. 89,000. I don't know if I'm going to end up using that weapon on someone else. I probably will, to be fair, but I don't know if it's better to refine it into Lauma or use it on someone else. What do you guys reckon we should do for the other copy of Lauma's weapon? Should I refine it into her, or should I put it on like a Nahida or a Kokomi, or put it on someone else? I'm not entirely sure, so I'm not really going to worry about farming for it right now, but it is something I should probably look into at some point. And that should be everything for Lauma's weapon. Quickly check over here. We have 0 dream solvents. Okay, that's not great. Well, looks like we won't be changing these talents anymore. We can, however, change this weapon and get it all the way up to level 90. So there we go. That is now Lauma's signature weapon at level 90. We have Lauma at level 90 running a Gilded Dreams because that's really the best I've got. I would like to get some better rolls on these pieces, you know, get some more crit damage and all that stuff, but hey, it kind of works, I guess. Our Lauma is now sitting at 1,248 EM. With a 49 to 80 crit ratio. It's not very good. As I said, I'd like to fix it, but I need better rolls on my artifacts, which is not happening at the moment. Okay, no, wait, never mind. We might have something for Lauma. And we see a... okay, that's not good. We're gonna put her back on that. well, we can't change that crit ratio, but it will fix itself when I farm for her other set that I want to get. In terms of the rest of her stuff, 18,000 HP is kind of low, but should be fine. She's not going to be on field, so that should be fine. 1,000 attack is, we don't really care. And then 130 energy recharge, I think, is enough. So that's all we can do for our Lauma. I do have 4 standard pulls from somewhere, so let me quickly do those ones. We see a Yunjin. I will take that. What constellation is that for our Yunjin? That is a C2. I don't know why you're level 90, because I don't know what teams I've been using you on. Who have I been using Yunjin with? I genuinely do not remember using her on any team. Maybe like the DPS Shalonen team that I messed around with a little bit, but that's all I can think of. But that is completely useless for what we're doing now, because now it is time to test out this lovely team. And then I'm probably going to try this out in like floors. What am I up to in the Spiral Abyss? Because it just reset. I didn't do it last rotation. Dang it. Well, I'll probably do floor 9, 10, 11 in Spiral Abyss, because I feel like we're at the point now we might actually be able to 36 star it, and I kind of want to leave 36 star in the Abyss for its own video, if we can get to that point. Which, to be completely honest, seeing how much damage this team is doing, I feel like we have a pretty solid chance at that. Let's, oh my, we're hitting 100,000 on the blooms. Okay, Masanori just disappeared. Yeah, no, we're going to need to do this in Abyss because I need more tanky enemies. So we will run the Hyperbloom team first half, and second half can be our very lovely and fun Freeze team. Now, I don't know how that Freeze team is going to stack up against the enemies in floor 12. I mean, I guess we'll figure it out. I'm hoping, oh my goodness, we just absolutely annihilated that. I'm hoping it should be good enough, but seeing how much damage the Hyperbloom team is doing, I'm pretty sure it doesn't really matter how this team does. As long as it can do half decent, which it does, I think we shouldn't have a problem. That was 121,000 from Lauma. Goodness gracious. Okay, I think we're fine. See, I was having problems with second teams before. That was like one of the biggest issues with this account, is we didn't have a good second team. I'm pretty sure we have a good second team now. In fact, I think our second team has just become our main team. I will say, I definitely think we need more crit rate on Lauma, because her hold skills, the big attack, does not crit very often, and that is not exactly what I want. I kind of want that to crit quite often. So we are going to need to fix those artifacts, but now that she is basically fully leveled up, aside from needing some more weekly bosses, I should be able to go farm artifacts now, because no one else really needs anything aside from weekly bosses, and then like maybe some more talent materials, but I can't really know how much of that I need until I get the weekly bosses. So I guess I could just go start farming Lauma's artifacts now. Also, I do not think I've even gone below 9 minutes on any of that. Floor 9 and 10 did not even remotely get close to 9 minutes. Now we're into floor 11, so this is where it might start to get a little bit more tricky, but realistically, not really. I will say the Freeze team, I think, will be really good, aside from the fact that I think there's the weird cactus dude in floor 12, and I'm pretty sure you need to have Electro for him, so I might have to run a different team, or the other option is we swap out Shenhe for a Raiden and run like a kind of scuffed Freeze team, but still sort of a Freeze team just with Raiden there to do Electro. It'd be like some weird Freeze Electro charged mixed team, which sounds weird, but I guess could probably work. We would be losing out on Shenhe, but I don't think that will really affect us massively. Escoffier's buff is pretty crazy, mixed with Citlali's buff and Farina. I don't think Shenhe's the biggest source of extra damage from this team, so you could probably throw Raiden in and not have a problem. But that is going to be a future problem because, as I said, I'm not running floor 12 in this video. I want to leave that for its own separate video, because at the rate the rest of this is going, floor 12 is looking significantly easier than it has ever looked. 134k from Lauma. That's the first time I've actually used her burst this entire run. And we hit 107,000 off the blooms. You know, just a casual 100,000 hyper bloom. That's, you know, just pretty standard stuff, really. I'm pretty sure those 100,000 damage blooms are from the critted version of them, because I'm seeing a more consistent, like 40,000. That was floor 11. Very easily done. So I think the 100,000s are definitely when we crit, and that doesn't happen super often because I believe it's like a 15% chance to crit. It would be nice to get a C2 Nahida, because then we could boost that up even higher. I mean, 42,000 off a bloom's really good, and then just chuck in like 100,000 bloom every now and then. Yeah, that's I don't think that's going to be a problem. That should be fine. We're going to leave this for a separate video, but looking at the enemies in here, this duck, I believe, is kind of a pain, but I think it's electro-related. The Radiant Moonfly is not that difficult. It's pretty easy. And this, I do not remember how this thing works, but I do know that you need electro for it. So I think when I do run this, I am going to do that. But yeah, we're going to leave that for a separate video, because that was about, I don't know, 40 minutes of building and doing the Spiral Abyss. And we now have pretty well the strongest team on this account, hands down, no questions asked. And surprise, surprise, it is a Hyperbloom team, which is just generally one of the best teams you can build. It did sort of like drop out of the meta a little bit when like Natlan released and stuff, and there was a bunch of other reactions, but with Lauma, it is certainly back in the meta. Her 1248 Elemental Mastery is absurd. I'm assuming that probably goes up even more with Nahida's stuff. I'm not 1000% sure how Nahida's stuff works. I haven't read it, and I probably should read it. But, I mean, bare minimum, we get like 1500 EM with a little small rotation with Nahida. That's definitely gonna be enough Elemental Mastery, I'd say. Considering most characters max out at like 1000. This was the luckiest building video I've ever done, because we got a double 5-star in a building video, and that was entirely unexpected. So let me know what you reckon I should do with that other weapon. I'll either refine it, or I'll use it on like a Nahida or a Kokomi or someone else. I don't know who else I'd use it on. But with that, that is where I'm going to leave it off. So I hope you guys did enjoy. If you like this video, do go check out the last video where we did the pools for Lauma and ended up getting 3 5-stars in that video. But with that, I will see you all in the next one. Good. Bye.